visage on the internet, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got Eric Baldus here. Eric plays a lot of sweet decks.
Yeah, I know he's been playing Lantern a lot.
Yeah, he does play Lantern. Plays some Ad Nauseam. He plays Jeskai Control.
Yeah, one time I played him, he was on blue red through the breach, I think.
He was also on Esper mid range for a bit.
Okay.
He'd play a Geist and then Lingering Souls you to death, which is a little bit counterproductive. You don't need blockers when Jeskai is very good at clearing the board to make way for Geist with Path and Bolt and Helix and Electrolyze. Esper is a little less good at doing that, so I don't fully understand the point of a Jeskai or of a Geist of Saint Trap Lingering Souls deck, but that's what he was doing for a while.
So it looks like Eric is on Ad Nauseam today, and his opponent Matt is on Burn.
So this is a sweet matchup, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird race.
Yeah, it's a strange race, and Eric has a lot of cool ways to survive. Matt's best card in this matchup by a huge margin is Eidolon, because Eidolon can...
Eidolon hurts a lot of...
Yeah,
almost everything but Ad Nauseam in Eric's deck.
Yeah, and Eidolon is also pretty good when your opponent has a Phyrexian Unlife in play, and it becomes their onus to not die to everything they do with Eidolon in play. If you can put 2 Eidolons in play, GG.
Although Eric might have like main deck Leyline of Sanctity, right?
Yeah, so he might. People definitely been doing that. The other thing Eric could do is like, he can just have like, for one, he'll have all 4 Angel's Grace, which is not a bad.
Right. Yeah, Angel's Grace is definitely a good way to stay alive against Burn.
Phyrexian Unlife itself is pretty good. It's like kind of like gain 10 life, sometimes more. Eric can also have some random cards like timely reinforcements out of the sideboard.
Yeah.
I feel like some of the combat stoppers, like Darkness. Well, does Darkness stop all damage or just combat damage?
I don't know. I think people play.
People play
Haze
Holy,
of.
well, people play Holy
Haze,
Day,
something
Ethereal Haze.
Ethereal Haze, that's what it is. Yeah.
You play all 3 of those.
Bunch of fogs.
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
I don't. Those probably are just combat damage.
Yeah,
it's only 1
I
mana.
I think so too. But I'm excited. I like these purple sleeves matched up with these green sleeves. I feel like I'm watching Monsters University.
Yeah.
You see that movie?
Yes.
Great movie. Great movie.
You're not wrong.
We got a double Spirit Guide, Ad Nauseam, Serum Vision, Sleight of Hand,
No lands.
Pact of Negation. Yeah, no lands. That's those are all great cards. How do we feel about Pact of Negation in this matchup? I feel like it's probably coming out, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it can save Eric if he has it on exactly the turn he needs before he goes off.
What you usually do with Pact of Negation is you try to counter post board a threat that you can't beat.
Yeah.
And then you Angel's Grace yourself the next turn on upkeep to save yourself because you probably can't pay the mana. But throwing away your Angel's Grace in a 2-for-1 scenario like that doesn't seem worth it for this Ad Nauseam deck post board. But
so it looks like Matt is also taking a mulligan here. So they will be on even footing.
That probably favors Eric.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got all the cantrips.
Burn definitely doesn't want a mulligan. You want as many cards as you can get. So it looks like Eric definitely has a playable 6 here. See if Matt finds the same.
Matt's sleeves are very bright.
Yeah.
They're
forest green.
Incandescent. Iridescent even.
Now, the interesting thing, I guess Phyrexian Unlife can also kind of like reduce the amount of damage done by a burn spell, right? Depending on what life total Eric's at when it hits him.
Right. That's why it's sometimes more than 10, right?
Yeah.
So you can actually reduce a burn spell to as little as 1 damage with
Phyrexian
Unlife.
We are off with both players at 6. Matt just snaps off the bolt on turn 1. I like it. Kind of indicates he probably doesn't have a creature or a lava spike. So here on turn 2, we are tapping 1 white
for Battlefield
and red.
Forge.
Here is Eidolon.
This might be a hint that this is kind of a budget deck. Battlefield Forge is not real popular.
That is true, yes. So Eric's going to opt in response to Eidolon so that he doesn't take any damage. Matt seems to not be familiar with Opt, thinks it's a counter spell. It is not, just a blue instant. So Eidolon is in play. And here's a suspended Lotus Bloom.
He has over there. He's putting it on the stack.
Sure. So Lotus Bloom is suspended. That will actually do damage to him when it comes off suspend.
Yeah. because Lotus Bloom is
0 CMC.
Oh yeah.
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 So Matt taking another point from his Battlefield Forge there. This time he's going to cast a Boros Charm? No, Lightning Helix. So that will do 2 damage to himself, but also 3 to Eric.
So Lightning Helix doesn't seem relevant in this matchup, but it actually kind of is. The reason being that if Eric has to go off with like a Spoils of the Vault or something, and can maybe only, or an Ad Nauseam, but doesn't have a lifesaver, he can possibly have to try to go off with only like 8 to 12 to 15 cards in hand. And if you only have 12 cards in hand with your Lightning Storm, you actually have to fight for each point of damage. You don't have enough lands to get up to, 18, 19, 20, 21 damage.
So it looks like Matt just passed the turn there and did not attack with Eidolon.
So I think he thinks his Eidolon is not in play.
No, I think he thinks it's an enchantment, which it is.
No,
because if I was playing, that's where I would put my enchantments, over there on the top right.
Which is where scumbags put their people that put their non-creature permanents other than lands somewhere else that's not the main board is really true.
Come on, that's what I do.
When someone puts their Stony Silence like off by their on the edge of the table.
That's where I would put it.
By their cigarettes, okay. Is that a Goblin Guide?
This is a Goblin Guide.
Okay, so reveal Serum Visions.
Serum Visions.
Hey, I think someone fixed my sound,
yes,
so thank you very much to Scott. Shout out to Scott. Big man Scott is. Oh, that was Jake?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shout out to Scott and Jake.
Yeah, so we definitely are not considering Eidolon as a creature currently.
Yeah, that's really too bad because
Eric would currently be at 8 if it were for the 2 attacks of Eidolon. So here's Rift Bolt coming off suspend.
I think Matt is maybe a little bit new to Magic. I think I played against Matt at the store before.
Sure.
He's a little bit newer, so I think he's still learning.
All right, well, I'm certain he's not at 4 currently. That's got to be correct. He has not done 12 damage. I think he's at 14.
Yeah.
So Goblin Guide there reveals the Temple of... I don't actually know what that temple's called. The white-blue one?
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment? Yeah, okay. Dude, guy, we would love to tell him that Eidolon's a creature, but we cannot impact the game from our position currently.
We are not.
Players are required to realize their own game states. And
think of us just like players at a big tournament, standing behind the players.
Yeah.
And you really wouldn't want to say anything. The best thing to do is whisper to a judge. And because I don't see any judges in whispering distance, we just have to sit here.
Yeah, Gemstone Caverns also failed to receive its counters when it was put into play. That another mistake there. I noticed that. Okay, so we Angel's Grace.
Yeah, should have. Okay, so should have 3 counters. So it probably has less than that now.
It looks like Eric just has the win here, though.
Well, good for him.
The Angel's Grace, Drew's whole deck.
Do we know if Eric would be dead? He probably would be, right?
Yeah, he definitely would be. Yeah,
he's at 3. Well, he's got Phyrexian in life.
I guess what he would have had to do.
He'd probably be at 6 or 7 infect, right?
No, he would be fine. He uses Angel's Grace in response to the Eidolon triggered on his upkeep, for the Lotus Bloom or whatever, and I think he would have survived.
Sure. So
yes, it was Gemstone Mines. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Gemstone Cavern is the one with the luck counter.
Yeah, the luck counter. That card is seeing a surge in price.
Yes, definitely.
With that colorless Eldrazi.
It got bought out, I think.
That colorless Eldrazi deck has been around for like a year and a half, I would say, but it just saw that resurgence. I think it's always been good. A friend of mine was playing it on Cockatrice like many years ago. But yeah, deck's sweet. A lot of synergies.
Yeah.
Mario and I were talking about building a sweet... Mario's actually not sold.
But no, we should not talk
there's
about
this new... No, we're gonna, no, don't ignore this. This is very important.
This is probably the worst deck you've ever heard of.
No, it's not that bad. There's a new card coming out. Some of you may have seen. It's like a Future Sight type card, like the card Future Sight.
It was in the Dominaria spoilers.
Yeah, in the Dominaria spoilers. It's a 4-mana blue enchantment, and you play with the top card of your library revealed, and you can
you can look at the top card. Of your library.
Can look at it, and you can choose to exile that card
for 3 mana.
Yeah, and you can also play that card
if it's an instant or sorcery.
If it's an instant or sorcery.
So a lot of restrictions.
So what you can do, and you pay 3 mana anytime activated the ability to exile it. I'm thinking mono blue Eldrazi zombies. We're playing Eternal Scourge.
So you can exile it off the top of your library and then cast it from exile.
We're playing Mist Hollow Griffin,
which is the same thing as Eternal Scourge, just a 2/2 flyer.
We're playing Scab Ruinator. Anybody? Can we get Scab Ruinator up on the screen?
Will never be cast in this.
That is Scab. That's not
you
true.
Will never.
No. No.
Infinite matches, you will never resolve a Scab Ruinator.
What you do is you put out an Eternal Scourge, you block with it, it goes to your graveyard, you exile it with Scab Ruinator.
Don't you need 3 creatures for Scab Ruinator?
Yeah. So what? Three Eternal Scourges.
You will literally never resolve.
No. It'll be fine. Folks, get on the hype train. Mono blue, Scab Ruinator.
Pre-order your Dissipation Field so that
is that what it's called? Dissipation Field? Card is great.
Precognition Field.
Card's stellar. Folks, pay attention. Look out for this one. Spec on that card.
Precognition Field.
That's right, Precognition Field.
Yes, you need to exile 3 creature cards from your graveyard.
But look at the payoff. You get a 5/6 flyer with no protection and no ETB trigger.
Great.
We're getting a word from our sponsor here real quick.
Not
one moment.
Our sponsor.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, we got a big week coming up next week, folks. Tell him, Mario.
Yeah. So,
give him the heat.
I guess last year, around this time, we had a nice event where some pro players from the Star City circuit came and played against the local players in a sort of challenge a pro event. That event is returning here next week. So we will have some Star City pros here on Friday, the day before the Star City Cincinnati event.
Todd Stevens is coming.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Okay, so
Todd Stevens.
So we have
Brendan DeCandio,
Tanning Grace, and Ross Merriam confirmed, and maybe Todd Stevens if he wants to
and
go.
Todd's by far the most important one there.
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, if you don't play Voice of Resurgence,
if you're playing Modern, sure.
Well, yeah. If you don't play Voice of Resurgence, are you really playing Magic? I mean, come on.
That's his philosophy. So as for the game on screen, what can Matt do here to beat Ad Nauseam? I feel like this is a really bad matchup.
No, I don't think it's that. So I've seen this matchup played.
Well, you can remember
times.
Eidolon's a creature. That's a start.
Yeah. So Eidolon is extremely good in this matchup. I think Deflecting Palm is also really good in this matchup.
Does that work?
I believe that works against.
No, your opponent just packs it, right?
Well, they can.
I mean, when they have their entire deck, they probably will.
If they left in Pact, Pact. I think Pact is one of the cards you take out here for Eric. But if we have any Ad Nauseam pros in the in chat, let us know if you would leave in Pact. But I think you do bother with the Deflecting Palm. But I really do think. I mean, Ad Nauseam, if they got nothing going on.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, Eric did just kind of go off on turn 3 there.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If Ad Nauseam has nothing, like sometimes they have to use Spoils of the Vault to like try to search for 5. You know, they lose 5. Like it's sometimes Ad Nauseam puts itself to a really low life total intentionally, or I guess unintentionally, to dig, and that's a bad plan against Burn. It's like Death Shadow, but instead of hitting your opponent with a 10-10, you're just hoping
to lose the game.
Yeah, you're just hoping hoping to draw cards that you might not draw. So this matchup is certainly interesting. Like I said, Eidolon by far and away the best card in the matchup. I think if you're Matt, you took out all Searing Blaze, hopefully.
Yeah, Searing Blaze definitely does not seem good here. On the off chance, though, you might be able to hit the Lab Maniac that Eric just plays to block.
Sure. If Matt had 2 Stony Silence,
that would be good.
I'd consider them.
In fact, Wear Tear is good here, regardless.
Wear Tear is very good. Smash the Smithereens could be okay. The problem is that you sack Lotus Blooms in response. Like you can never actually resolve a smash.
It just makes them get rid of their Lotus Bloom.
So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's another artifact. Oh, I guess so. If you have Revelries 100%.
Yeah, because that takes off Phyrexian
Revelries amazing. Smash the Smithereens and Wear and Tear slightly less.
Well, I mean, Matt almost certainly needs some enchantment here because Eric is going to have ley lines. Right, yeah, we see
there's one right there, and a Phyrexian Unlife. Yeah. So that's probably just game, set, match.
Yeah, unless Matt did bring in enchantment removal, or he could be on the creature plan. Depends. Both players again mulliganing to 6.
Yeah, I mean, if Matt like throws out 2 Goblin Guides, I mean, because for one, from Eric's
we just bottomed a Swift Spear, so
that's
he's
bad.
on the play.
From Eric's standpoint, you really can't.
Oh, Matt is not familiar with Leyline of Sanctity. That cannot be
that's bad.
Good from the Burn player's perspective. Can you imagine being a Burn player and the first time reading this Leyline of Sanctity? Like, what do you...
Yeah. So what I was going to say is, from Eric's standpoint, you actually do have to be worried about how long it's going to take you to go off here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Eric drop this Simian Spirit Guide down as a blocker to get in front of a creature if we see one.
That could be.
I mean, Eric's on a Mold of 6, and 2 of his cards are Leyline and Phyrexian Unlife. He might never actually combo off. It might take him 8 turns to combo off. So
Matt does have the Goblin Guide. It's a good start. So this is an interesting trick here. Eric scries. If he did find a land, it was correct just to leave it on top because he would draw it to Goblin Guide. But it looks like he didn't there. He put it to the bottom.
Okay, just saying, 10 out of 10, we see Eric throw down this Goblin Shaman in front of this Goblin Soldier, and they duke it out.
The Ape Spirit?
He is an Ape Spirit, isn't he?
Yes.
Well, you know what? What did I say he was? A Goblin Shaman?
A Goblin Shaman. Yeah, not even close.
That would be great if he were a Goblin. That'd probably be busted, though.
Sure, yes, it definitely would be. So Eric, luckily, did find a land on top anyway. But Matt missed his second land draw. Although he did have a Monastery Swiftspear. So the creature plan, you know, it looks pretty good here in the face of Leyline, considering Matt literally can't cast any other spells, really. But we'll see if Eric's able to combo off or just stop this creature onslaught.
So interesting sleight of hand here from Eric. I wonder if he would have preferred to... Oh, never mind. That's a Seachrome Coast. I was thinking that was a Temple of Enlightenment.
Right.
If it was a Temple of Enlightenment, yeah, you'd probably play that first.
So here's Seachrome Coast Serum Visions.
Seems fine.
So Matt really, to probably have any chance of winning this game, Matt either needs like land Eidolon or a way to remove this Leyline. So very interestingly, I would not imagine that Matt is aware of this, but if he absolutely needs to, he can bolt himself to trigger Prowess on Monastery Swiftspear.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm not sure Matt is quite yet a sophisticated enough player to see that line.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't know what Leyline
but he could do it.
So
does Eric have the third mana in hand beside... Oh, yeah, he's got a Gemstone. Okay.
Gemstone...
Lightning Helix.
Gemstone Mine.
Lightning Helix is pretty funny because
you does 0 damage.
Yeah, it does 0 damage. Yeah, you just
if you target yourself with Lightning Helix,
pump that guy for 1.
Well, we're in for 3. We found another land off Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide has been very good for Eric this game. 2 out of 3 lands.
Of course, Lightning Helix will still do damage to Matt because of his Battlefield Forge.
Yes. So it looks like we're just getting the Phyrexian Unlife down here. So that essentially puts Eric up to 22 life.
Yeah, so but if Matt has another Goblin Guide off the top here, I kind of think Eric's in trouble.
Yeah. I mean,
that could be as quick as a 3-turn clock. If he finds something like if he utilizes the prowess and like finds like a single Skullcracker or something.
Yeah.
And I don't think Eric's really think Eric's prepared to go off in the next 3 turns.
Man, what if Matt just played a Blood Moon here? That would be great.
That'd be great.
Well, now revealing Ad Nauseam.
Okay, well that's pretty good.
It definitely moves Eric in the right direction. Although I don't think he has any more lands. But he just, oh no, he still has the Gemstone Mine. So I think Eric can actually just go off. No, next turn maybe. He needs. No, he has Unlife. Yeah, he's good. Just exile Spirit Guide and cast Ad Nauseam for 5 mana.
Oh yep, that's it.
And that should do it.
Easy money.
So pay as much life as you need. Draw the whole deck. And Lightning Storm will finish him off. Let's see if Eric left the packs in. I didn't see there.
Like I said at the start,
it looks like maybe he doesn't.
I don't think you leave the packs in for the reason that I mentioned earlier.
So, but Deflecting Palm, I mean, if Matt did have Deflecting Palm here, right? It just puts Eric into Infect or whatever.
Yeah, it put him to 0 life. Okay. Yeah.
So this is actually important on Matt's end. He should learn how Ad Nauseam works if he hasn't played against it before. So Eric going off there is showing it. So for those in chat who don't know how it works, Ad Nauseam Ad Nauseam lets you pay life to draw cards, but if you have a way such that you don't lose the game for paying life, you just draw your entire deck. You exile Summon Spirit Guides to cast the card Lightning Storm, which is like a lightning bolt equal to the number of lands you discard. So you discard all the lands you've drawn since you have your entire deck, and you're able to lightning bolt your opponent a bunch of times in a row to finish the job. There's a few more intricacies than that, but that's the general gist.
Yeah, not the least of which is the fact that Lightning Storm might be the most confusing card ever printed.
Yes, Lightning Storm is a very confusing
card. Each player can exchange control of it
yeah.
by discarding lands. It's dumb.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but basically
it involves
almost every time it's cast,
a spell with charge
it just does a bunch of damage to your opponent, kills them. It's usually not cast in any other way. I wonder if there's ever been a deck that's utilized Lightning Storm in a different way. I feel like there probably has
maybe
not.
You could play it in like, oh, well, you probably could. I'm going pretty deep here, but
okay.
There are those, both in Legacy and formerly in Modern, there are assault.
Seismic assault.
Well, there are seismic assault loam decks.
Yeah.
And this in seismic assault loam seems passable.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of well, it increases the damage of your seismic assault by 1 because seismic assault does 2 damage by discarding a land.
Right.
And I guess if somehow like seismic assault gets pithing needled, you can cast this and win with it still.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you're playing seismic assault, you can play this, yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody's playing seismic assault except for those
Swans.
horrible seismic Swans players.
Well, everybody
always
now.
beat me.
People are really now on Sulfuric Vortex. Oh, what's that card? Not Sulfuric Vortex.
Molten Vortex.
Molten Vortex.
Yeah.
Because Molten Vortex is actually, in many ways, better in a non. If you're not trying to combo, Molten Vortex is better at grinding out. Because you don't need triple red and all kinds of reasons. But
all right, well, that will do it for a quick round 1 here. We will try to find another match since we still have 30 minutes left. Maybe that is in sideboarding to bring you to finish off round 1. So we will be back hopefully in a few minutes. Actually, okay, our spotter is going to look. So we will wait here a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll sit here and chat to you about our sweet deck ideas. Mario, you go first. I got none.
Okay, Mark has none. You will see either Mark or I probably in short order playing. Oh, we are here. Hello.
Oh, wow.
I am Mario. Obviously you can recognize my voice. This is the
Mark,
first time
I'm
we
actually
have been featured on
right
camera
now, so I did not know. I did not know we were going to.
Yeah, we were not aware of this.
But yeah,
fair enough.
I just love these sugary wafers. They're full of
sugar,
full of processed. Anyway,
oh, someone asked a question. If Matt had 15 lands in his hand, would Eric lose? Do we know the answer to this?
Eric probably had more than 15.
Yeah, Eric had his entire.
What matters is who's able to discard the last land. But theoretically, if what you're asking, if the burn player had a bunch of lands in hand, yes, they would.
Right.
If you had 24, because my guess is Eric had probably 17 or 18 lands in hand there.
Yeah.
And if his opponent had 19,
more than that,
he would discard the last one and kill him.
All right. Well, we have found our interim match.
Assuming that Matt correctly navigated that stack.
The answer to that question is that. Oh, right. Okay. You're right. The other player did have a ley line as well, so that obviously would stop that.
Oh, well, sure.
But there are it is possible to redirect a lightning storm. You just need literally more lands than Ad Nauseam has in their deck. So I guess if you two were playing Ad Nauseam.
Yeah, how does the Ad Nauseam mirror?
And you were able to Ad Nauseam in
response. You know what seems like the best card in the Ad Nauseam mirror? Grave Titan. How do we feel about that?
Okay.
How do we feel?
Mark is convinced that somebody at some point has played Grave Titan in the sideboard of their Ad Nauseam deck.
You can play Grave Titan on turn 3.
And we have failed to find this alleged deck list anywhere online.
It's sort of like when your opponent ghost quarters you with a Native Mind Sensor in play. Fail to find.
Yes, because it doesn't exist. It's a little bit different, I suppose.
No, but for real, folks, Grave Titan and Ad Nauseam. Tell your friends.
I have had somebody play Elspeth Sun's Champion against me in Ad Nauseam. That seems a lot better.
That seems reasonable. I've seen big threats come out.
Riverwick 21. Thanks for the follow.
This is one I have actually seen. What's the name of that old control finisher from Khans of Tarkir?
Secure the Wastes?
Pearl Lake Ancient.
Oh, Pearl Lake Ancient, yes.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Pearl Lake Ancient, which is a much better version of that new rare legendary Nezahal.
Yeah.
Pearl Lake Ancient's a lot better than Nezahal.
Pearl Lake Ancient is pretty sweet.
Nezahal might be one of the worst blue control finishers they've printed in recent memory, which is sad because
for standard.
It's fine. Well, that's what I mean though. They're all standard quality. Pearl Lake Ancient, Sphinx to the final word.
I'm not sure what our matchup is, but Jonathan. Oh, I can see now what the matchup is actually. But Jonathan just had 3 Pithing Needles out of his sideboard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Against Blue Moon, are those only for Jace? Because if those are only for Jace,
he might be on like Kiki Moon.
He could be. I don't think Eddie's on Kiki though. If you're only doing that to Jace,
you can name Scalding Tarn.
Well, sure, you can name Scalding Tarn. But if what you brought those in for was Jace, your opponent sort of feels like they've already won.
Yeah, 3 Pithing Needles is a lot.
That's very excessive. And Jace is not so backbreaking that the Soul Sisters deck can't beat it. I mean, I will say, Mario, you were talking earlier about Jace and how Jace has not proved to be super prevalent
as
in
impactful
Modern.
as people expect.
Yeah, my opinion on that is, unlike Bloodbraid Elf, Jace has a lot of play to it, and to play Jace optimally is something that is happening at very few Magic stores and very few Magic matches overall. All the people playing Modern right now, I would say 15% of them or less actually play their Jace optimally.
Yeah.
And the ones playing their Jaces optimally are the. I mean, I think Jace Jeskai is a really good deck.
Like we
undeniably.
Saw, I think last week or something, Jim Davis was playing like blue-white control in Modern with Jace, and he obviously did very well.
I think Jace Jeskai is very good. I think Jace Blue Moon Kiki is very good, or just regular Jace Blue Moon.
There's also the consideration, right, that a lot of players probably don't own Jace. And
yeah, and that's true too. That people haven't bought into them yet. Of course, today we might see that trend start to reverse, but I do think Jace is very, very good, and there are certain biases working against its stats right now.
Yeah.
Not the least of which is that the fact that the card has a skill floor.
Right.
Which is, I mean.
So, both players kept up here. Eddie led off with a turn 1 Ancestral Vision.
Yeah, so which one of those one drops do we like more?
Yeah, Jonathan passed his turn 1, top decked a Soul Sister, it looks like, but didn't have a second land. So that is definitely not good.
This matchup seems really bad for Jonathan.
Yes, I agree. Here's a Bolt. It's going to take out the Soul Sister.
Do we know what kind of variant this is?
Nope. But we are definitely playing Soul Sister. So
if he were playing Proclamation of Rebirth, I think he might have a chance if he were on that sort of mono-white prison strategy.
I'm fairly certain that's a Plains, Nick, just a weird old Plains. I think it is. It might be something else. But
it sort of looks like a Sarah Sanctum.
Yeah, it does.
But
I don't think it's that.
I hope not.
We got is that Cascade Bluffs out of Eddie?
So Cascade Bluffs kind of tells you he might be playing.
That's actually the brand new Masters 25 edition Cascade Bluff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How about that?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's got the new symbol.
The land was not a Plains. It was Forbidden Watchtower.
Oh, that's a good one. For those of you that don't know, Forbidding Watchtower is it's actually it's from the same cycle as Treetop Village and Fairy Conclave.
Oh, it's the white version.
Yeah, and it's 2 mana to make a 1/5 tower. One of my favorites.
Is the creature is a tower?
I think it might be a 1/5 wall.
Okay.
With Defender. I think that's what it is. It might be a 1 white soldier wall.
It's a soldier. Oh, just a soldier.
Oh, just a 1/5 white soldier. Huh. This is my favorite art. This 10th edition one.
Cool.
This 10th edition Forbidding Watchtower.
It looks kind of like the
I own like 6 of these because I think it's so cool.
But Jonathan still has not found a land. Thankfully. Oh, well, I'm not sure. I was going to say thankfully he has a lot of 1-drops. Obviously he would prefer more lands, but here we do find one of his Pithing Needles. Let's see what this is going to name. Nope, looks like it's going to get mana leaked.
Whoa, baby.
All right. I mean, I guess Eddie just wanted to utilize his mana there. It doesn't seem like Pithing Needles is a huge deal unless, I mean, in the current game state, it definitely doesn't seem like a big deal for Eddie, but maybe it is hindering his main game plan.
It is interesting. This matchup seems very tough for many Soul Sisters variants. But this one lander is really not working out for us.
Yeah, right.
But like I said, I think if Jonathan were on a Proclamation of Rebirth style, you might have some tricks up your sleeve for this. But generally speaking, an Electrolyzed deck is bad news for you.
Yeah. Well, we're going to path Snapcaster.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about this path here is that you don't want to path the Snapcaster until you're much lower than 16 life. Because you're just throwing away your path.
Well, now we got 2 Snapcasters as path gets mana leaked.
Yeah, in
2
this
different
case,
Snapcasters. We got 1 Innistrad, 1 Monomasters.
Yeah, Eddie with all the versions. Yeah, the best way to play this strategically, generally speaking, would be
Eddie, somebody didn't draw their card for the turn. Was it Eddie after the Ancestral Visions, or did John not draw a card? No, John drew the path, so it must have been Eddie after the Ancestral Visions. I imagine I would miss that quite frequently.
Drawing a card
after resolving Ancestral. Yeah.
But anyway, I was saying, if you have 16 life and you're being beaten down by 1 Snapcaster, don't path it yet. Wait till you're at maybe 6.
Wow, that card seems unbeatable.
Is it Staticaster? Yeah. This deck has all the tools to beat up on this deck.
Soul Sisters.
I think the way Jonathan wins this type of matchup is with a Genesis Chamber and a Norin.
Yeah.
And maybe a Perforos. That's the kind of
Soldier of the Pantheon. Well,
that's protected against Electrolyze and Staticaster.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
But not Bolt.
Yeah, not protection against Snapcaster or Bolt. So
Eddie's seeing all 3 Snapcasters is pretty good here.
Definitely. I mean, he did resolve the Ancestral, but yeah.
That's a lot of Snapcasters for the first 16 cards of his deck.
And now the game has ended, so we'll get in there for 6 to put John to 6. Eddie drew a Mana Leak, so John not going to be able to resolve a spell on his next turn. And that will do this for a quick game 2 here.
Well, this is these have been some exciting matches.
Yeah, so these matches have been great. Pretty one-sided from what we've seen. Don't know what that is.
That looks like a Daybreak Ranger. Is that a Daybreak Ranger? That's a green card.
So untap our Snapcasters. Now Jonathan could have the Shoal, Shining Shoal.
Shining Shoal. Oh man,
it doesn't look like that's the case.
Man, you know how bad Shining Shoal would be against Electrolyze. So you're down 2 cards to counter it, but they still draw a card. Oh, all right.
I'm not even sure what Shining Shoal does, to be honest. All I know is that it prevents damage, I think.
It's exactly what it's a shoal, but it prevents X damage for what you exiled.
Where X is the CMC, okay.
Yeah, so if you put your Progenitor this, you prevent 10 damage.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, so definitely a poor showing from Jonathan there, keeping the 1-lander. I mean, from the makeup of his hand, it looks like he did have many 1-drops, so it didn't seem that bad, but he just never found his second land to get anything going. And Eddie had tons of the right forms of interaction for him.
So do we think that Eddie does have Kiki with that Cascade Bluffs?
Yes, I am curious. He probably does.
You kind of don't play Kiki with you don't play Cascade Bluffs unless you're playing Kiki Jiki, generally speaking.
But Cascade Bluffs, I mean, it seems like the moons help you cast Kiki regardless, but yeah, I suppose Cascade Bluffs help you if you don't have a moon.
The problem is when you have Cryptic and Kiki in the same deck. If you just have Cryptic and the only red spell you need to cast is like Anger the Gods, that's not so bad.
Shining Shoal is kind of like Deflecting Palm. Yes, I guess it is. It's just without the deflection. It just absorbs the damage. Or does it deflect? It doesn't deflect, right?
Shining Shoal?
Yeah, no, it just absorbs the damage.
I don't think Shining Shoal deflects.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does not. There's no way it would.
It'd be sweet if it did, but a Divine Deflection deflects.
It seems appropriate. Yeah, you may exile a white card. Oh, no, it does deflect.
Oh, it does?
Wow, we totally didn't know that.
So you can deflect 10 damage with your
considerably better
Progenitus?
Than just being a fog, I suppose.
Sure, why not? I'd still rather play Divine Deflection, but that's just me.
All right, well, that'll do it for the second match of round 1. We're not going to have another one, probably. Most games are coming to a close at this point, so we will be back in about 15 or 20 minutes with round 2, so stay tuned, guys. Thanks.